Good morning, my crafty friends. Welcome to my craft room. My name is Daryl Walter of Pickled Peppers Creative Cafe at pickledpepperscreative.com. Today is Saturday, August 30th, 2025. You are here in my craft room. Come on in, come on in. Good morning to you. Super excited to have you here. I'm a few minutes late. I don't mind telling you. I apologize. I'm so sorry. I have been having problems with the direction on the camera. I thought I had it figured out, and then when I got ready to go live, I realized that I didn't. So I'm a couple of minutes late. Thank you for waiting. That's what I should say. Thank you for waiting for me. And good morning. So again, I am Daryl Walter. I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and Saturdays are the days that I like to come and share a crafty project with you that's fun, using cute products from Stampin' Up. Because I am a Stampin' Up demonstrator, what you will see here from me, I should say, are a lot of Stampin' Up products. So they're the feature while I'm here. So I just wanted to let you know that. So how are you? How are you? Hopefully not backwards like my camera. So let me turn this over. We'll talk about the products that we're going to use today. We are going to use something fall inspired because I'm kind of in that mode. We've been having here in the Midwest, we've been having cooler nights, just like the fall, and nice days. It has been really nice. So we're using something from the existing catalog. It is the More Than Autumn. The thing that I wanted to let you know about it is you're going to be seeing me backwards because I can't, I haven't mastered the new camera the way that I thought I had. So we are backwards. But other than that, everything is going to be cute. That's not going to be backwards. So how are you? Let me know when you come in that you're here. Say hi to me. Chat with me in the comments below. If you like what I'm sharing, give a thumbs up. You can say hi. Tell me how your week is going. Tell me about your fur babies. I don't care. I just like to talk to you. So if you're watching the replay, either on YouTube or Facebook, say hi in the comments below. Let me know that you're here. Okay, that's my hello to you. Let's go ahead, since I'm a couple of minutes late, we're going to go ahead and get started. We'll talk about everything that we're going to do. And I'm actually casing the catalog. What that means is that I am using one of the designs from the Stampin' Up catalog. I want to say that loosely because I saw another version on Pinterest that I like to the arrangement a little better. So we're going to rearrange them. And that was from Priscilla. Oh, I can't remember. Priscilla something. But anyways, I liked her spin on her take on the Stampin' Up catalog. So we're going to be doing that. I've different colors, but very similar. So I have here the More Than Autumn. I know that you can't see it forward facing, but I will have a link in the description above at the end of today's video. So you'll be able to pop over to the online store if you're interested in this and you would like to see it. Look at all of the sentiments there, and I'll tell you. So it's called More Than Autumn. There are coordinating dies for all those little bits of yummy that you see at the bottom. You see all those little bits of yummy. So there's everything. We won't go over them all, but can you see that some of the words, oh, hey, look at that. Nothing's better than. That's forward facing. Apple, pumpkin, cocoa. Hey, I love it. It's backwards, but hot. How about that? Hot, hot, hot. So all those little bits of yummy, and there are some of the words, as you can see, like that nothing's better than, you can cut out and you don't need to stamp them. And we're going to use that nothing's better than. But there are a whole lot of sentiments here. Nothing's better than, you had me at, to my, grateful it's finally, except maybe you, hello is the best, this calls for, and love you more than. And then these words here, the pumpkin season, fall, apple, eggnog, cider, peppermint, autumn, donuts, hot cocoa, pie, spice. Oh, they are designed to coordinate with these partial phrases so you can finish it the way that you want to. And then there's you are the, and then there's an ampersand. Ooh, look at that. If you know me, you know that I love ampersands. I love the and. It means more. More than what meets the eye. More of what you love. More. It means filling your life with happy. That's how I interpret it. I love an ampersand. And then we have our cup that can be either latte, which it's going to be in our case. It can be latte. It can be coffee. It can be hot cocoa. It can be whatever you want it to be. There's some whippy dip for the top. Some marshmallows if you decide to make it cocoa. There's an apple pie, some sprinkles. You can see the little candy cane. So if you wanted to add the gingerbread and the candy cane for Christmas. So there are different seasons that you can use this for, right? And then the pie, the donut, and the little bitties down here. So that's what's in this bundle. It is bundled. I did look at it this morning. You know, I think it's 10% off. I can't be sure. When stamp bundles are in the original publication, they're 10% off. And then if they're carried over to a new publication, you can buy them individually. So that's my confusion. I can't remember if I still saw the 10% off, but they're still nice and cute, right? Oh, let me pull us up on my other device too. I'm doing all the things I can, you guys, to make this visual experience the best that I can make it. I've been working in the background. I think I told you guys that. Lots of things that I'm trying to learn, and it is busy, let me tell you. And it's not easy, but I'm trying to focus on the most important things first, which would be like the camera orientation, right? But anyways, so I have paired these. We're using, so I told you we're casing the catalog, Stampin' Up's catalog. So we're using what they used, and they used the perennial postage dies. So can you see all of these? They're like postage stamps, and they're big ones, like this ginormous one, and then there are little ones. So we're going to be using a lot of them. I went ahead and cut all of the postage dies out. We do have some stamping, coloring, and cutting to do, but I cut these all out so we didn't, so we could cut back on time. We didn't have to do that part of it on camera, even though we do have some cutting that we're going to do on camera. But I hope not a lot. I hope not a lot. And then in terms of, I wanted to pick out a designer series paper to use, and I did not do that. I didn't do that. So we're just gonna roll with the coloring. I think that's what we're gonna do, because that's what we have out. So I did go ahead and cut the big postage, the two largest postage dies out using pumpkin pie. I have some basic white. It's the regular basic white, and this is pecan pies. So the pies are on deck this morning. We have pies, and then we have basic white. So we're just using basically stamps, inks, and paper, which is good for me. All right, and then, I didn't pick inks out ahead of time, but I feel like I want to use early espresso for the most part. I don't think I want to use anything else. So let me grab that. And maybe I'll grab the pecan pie too. Pecan. Hey, pecan and pecan, those are regional, the way that you pronounce it. I think that we say pecan here in the north, in the Midwest. Let me know if I'm wrong. I think in the South they say pecan. We say pecan. I don't know. I say both. Anyways, So I have the pies out. We have some early espresso. We have pecan pie. I don't think we're going to be using anything more than that. Let's, hand sanitizer. I'm going to move that over. And so we can pick some blocks out. And I think that we'll start with the stamping. So that having been said, I'm going to keep the basic white out. We're going to do some stamping on that. I'm going to cut it down so that it fits through the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, because I did say, right, that we're going to do some coloring, a little cutting, no embossing, but we're going to do some cutting. So I'm going to cut this down to 3 3/4, which should fit nicely through our Stampin' Cut and Emboss. And then I'll put that piece of scrap aside, and then I'm going to cut another little scrap, because I think we have I do think we have some stamping to do. Let's cut this the long way. So 8.5 by 11, my piece of cardstock, the 8.5 inch side is towards the top. We're going to cut it in half, which is 4 1/4 of that 8.5. 4 1/4 is going to give us the halfway mark. And then if we need to use this remaining half for mats, the only thing we have to do is cut it from the long side, right, up and down. So we'll put that aside. And then I'm going to cut this in half again, which is going to be 5 1/2. We're going to have a little bit of waste. And I'm trying to make as little waste as I can. I'm going to chop this right down to that 3 3/4 too. That will still make a mat, but what it's also going to do, once again, it's going to pass right through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. That's what I'm after. Okay. Oh dear, did you see that? I'm a brute this morning. I have to learn to respect my favorite tool in my craft room, this cutter that has seen many miles. We're going to put it aside for now. I'm not going to put it too far out of the way because we may need it. But, so let's go ahead with some, I'm going to turn my fan off. I was having a girl moment for a little bit there and I turned my fan on, but now it's a little chilly. Okay, so we're going to need to do some coloring, but let's go ahead and stamp all of the things that we're going to stamp. So we need, let's grab a clear block. We need the pie, and we need the latte cup, and we need the whoop-de-doo. We need the donut. And then we need, we're just going to use maybe the heart, the apple, and the pumpkin. We'll see. Let's start with the bigger things. And I'm going to grab that latte cup and the early espresso. I'm going to leave these right open so I can peruse them as we're creating. Peruse, isn't that a nice word? Peruse. I don't see anybody on yet, so hopefully you're able to see me in the live feed. So I'm going to pop over here to my sample so I can see what we're doing. All right, so I'm going to ink this right up, and maybe today I'll behave. Let me steal my Stampin' Pierce mat. So when you're using clear photopolymer dies for the, or stamps for those of you that may not be, have stamping in your background, there's no cushion there. Can you see that? My blocks need a little bit of attention too. So you want to give it a little cushion. That makes for a better stamping impression. And so I like to use the Stampin' Pierce mat. It doubles as my mouse pad. I like it better than any of the other mouse pads I have. I don't know. I just bought a mouse pad the other day too, because it's flat, you know, one of those flat, foamy, rubbery feeling kinds of things. I bought one, but I go back to my Stampin' Pierce mat. I don't know. Maybe it makes my heart happy to have it near and dear. So I have it near and dear. All right. I'm just going to clean that up. This makes me a little bit nervous, all of that. Last week's project, I bungled it up with ink on my fingers, so I'm just going to try to clean it up a little bit. All right, so let's grab that. Oh, here's the whip-de-doo. We'll grab the whip-de-doo and we'll do that because we need it. That's going to top off our latte because I think I told you it was latte in our cup. In your cup, you can put your favorite beverage in there. Yeah, I do have ink on my fingers. You see, guys? Maybe I need a paper towel too. Makes me paranoid. All right, and then we need the pumpkin pie or whatever the pie is. Oh dear, I'm gonna peel it off of the acetate sheet. And we're gonna stamp our pie. I don't like pumpkin pie and I don't like sweet potato pie. So maybe this is cheesecake. In my world, maybe this is cheesecake. Because I love cheesecake. That I do love. Cheesecake gets me into trouble. Hard to have just a couple of bites of that. Okay, and then we need the donut. So let's peel the donut off. And then I think we'll do a little stamping next. And yeah, I think this is it for the larger pieces. Maybe I'll put that donut, maybe I'll put the donut twice. I was thinking about how I wanted to arrange all of these little yummy pieces after we cut them out, and I was indecisive. So we can choose here. We can choose here. All right, I'll put that there. And then I think we're gonna need a smaller block. So let's go ahead and put my mouse pad slash Stampin' Pierce mat away. Okay, and then I have this little bitty block. We're gonna do the little bitties. And I'll do a couple of each of them. Let's do them on this end. Oh dear, you see that? Let me bring my mouse pad back out. I made a little bit of a boo-boo. I need my mouse pad. There we go, much better. Let's do 2 of the pumpkins. And then, isn't that little pumpkin the cutest little thing? Super cute. Little apple. Let's grab the apple. You know, I'm not sure if you noticed, if I remember, I'll point out, there's also a straw that you can put in your drink, and there are cinnamon sticks. I didn't want to fuss with them because they're tiny, or they're skinny, and we already have a lot of little ditties here, as I like to call them, the little ditties. And then where's the heart? We wanted to do the heart. Did I lose the heart? Say it isn't so. Oh, there we go. Just kidding, I found it. All right, and then let's do a couple of little hearts. Now, the next thing I think we need to do is figure out some colors. We're going to do a little coloring. I don't think we're really going to need more than a red, pumpkin pie, maybe cherry cobbler. I like that rich red. And yeah, maybe that's it. So let's go ahead and cover this up for now. I can't be certain. No, we're not done stamping. We do need to stamp maybe in pecan pie, maybe in pumpkin pie. My example is showing pumpkin pie. We'll see. Let's get our bearings by doing a little bit of coloring. I'm going to put my mouse pad back, trying to save my diaper wipe. And then let's grab some blends. Stampin' Blends. You see how this fills the hole? This is why I don't die cut. I have a large die cutter and takes up all the room in the desktop. I did want to show you that these are my Stampin' Blends markers. And I think we're going to definitely use the pumpkin pie. So let's take a look at that. We have, I must have 2 sets because I have 2 dark pumpkin pies and 1 light. Okay, maybe the light one took a dive. We have peach pie too. If we have to, we can use peach pie. And then let's see, I really think just red. I don't know if the cherry cobbler will be too dark, but I say that we are going to try it. Is this light cherry pie or cherry cobbler? Yes. Okay. So we have pumpkin pie and cherry cobbler. I think that's what we're going to do. Oh yeah. The other donut. I thought about making a lighter brown donut. We'll color one donut. We'll revisit it if we have to. Let's go ahead and get some coloring done, or else we're going to be here all day. Stick those behind me for now. So let me tell you, I am not a coloring specialist. I just kind of do my own thing, and it's one of the reasons that I love the Stampin' Blends markers, or the alcohol ink-based markers. They kind of do the magic for you. You don't have to be a pro. So I'm going to start with the pie. Let's do that. And what I'm going to do is use the brush tip. So there are 2 tips there. You see there's a brush tip and a rounded nib. I'm going to start with the lighter of the 2 and the brushed tip. If I can get that off. And I'm going to do actually some of all. I'm going to go right in the center of our label. And then I'm going to go in the center of the pie. And then I'm going to go in the center of the donut, or like around the center. There we go. I'm just going to use that nib point to get close to the line. So I'm trying to stay within the lines. If you've used alcohol ink before, you know it kind of moves. After you apply it, it moves. And so if you get right up on the line, you're almost guaranteed to go over the line because once again, it moves. All right, and then I'm going to do the same thing for the pumpkins. I'm just going to scribble in the center, and then we'll do the same thing. Well, here, might as well make both donuts the same. I want it to be all fancy if I decided to use the second one. And yeah, I'm doing too much. So I'll go ahead and do that one too. And then I'm going to take the light cherry cobbler, and I'm going to do the same thing to the apple and the hearts. So I'm just going to go right in the center, and then we'll blend them with the darker color. So right in the center. You see how easy this is? I bet this doesn't even take 5 minutes to complete. Since we are on the cherry cobbler, let's go ahead and finish the apple and the hearts. So I have the brushed tip. I think it's too big for that small area. Let's go ahead and finish the apple. And I'm going to purposely cover some of the lines from the lighter. Oh, let's do this one. Maybe we'll need to come back in with the lighter because I'm trying to create a little bit of a shadow. I don't know. Oh, we need the hearts too. we'll see how good I done when we're done. But these little pieces are so small, you may not be able to tell. I think we'll see it better with the larger stamps. All right, so let's move to the dark pumpkin pie. And again, I'm going to use the nib because the area is small. And I'm going around the outside. Now that I'm doing this, I think that we're definitely going to need to go back over both of them with the lighter. So I'm going to switch back really quickly. And I think I'm going to try and use the brush tip. And I'm going to go over the whole, oh yeah, there's the ticket. So I'll go over the whole thing with the lighter color, and that picked up the darker color and made it blend. So we'll do the same thing with the apples. Oh, that tip is kind of yuck. So we'll use the rounded nib. Oh, we need a little green for the leaves of our apple. And then let's go ahead with the darker and color in the rest of the icing. Now that I'm looking, we need a brown. We didn't pull out a brown. Nope, this is not going to work. We need the rounded nib. I'm too afraid of going over the lines. But we're coloring in the icing of our donuts, but the donut itself is brown. So we're going to need some pecan pie. Pecan, there's the word I say. Pecan. Pecan. Every time I use the pecan pie, it reminds me of how the pronunciation is regional. I lived in North Carolina for about 5 years. And it's where I lived in the Midwest. I was born right here in Lansing. And I've lived here most of my life. And obviously, I'm here, so I came back to home. But we lived out there for about 5 years, and that's where I became, even though you kind of know it in your mind, we say other regions have accents. But I found out when I moved to North Carolina that I was the one with the accent. Good morning, Patty. How are you? Good morning, good morning. Thanks for hanging out with me this morning. I'm glad now to see that I'm not lost in the abyss. I was a little afraid at first. Good morning. How are you? Hopefully you're having a beautiful, beautiful morning. Oh, this is dark. I didn't want to do that. I'm making a little bit of a mess. And hopefully you're having a good weekend. Oh yeah, maybe that's what I wanted to do. I just didn't want to go over that center part. I misplaced my glasses. I thought I brought them down because I need them more and more these days. And did you have a good week, Patty? How was your week? Hopefully it was beautiful. I had a busy week, but one of those busy weeks where it's not overwhelming, so it felt nice. It felt like I coasted right into the weekend. And the weekend said, hello. All right, there's our pie. I did put, and actually I like the effect. I put dark in a little bit of space that I didn't intend for it to be, but I'm okay with it. It looks pretty good. And then, I don't know. This is a larger area, but I'm more comfortable with the nib, and I think it is because I forgot my glasses. I usually tuck or pop them onto my face when I get ready to create. You guys don't usually see it, but that's what happens. And right now, it's not what happened. Okay. Yeah, so I think because I don't have my glasses, I'm not so comfortable with that brush tip because you do have to be aware of where you're coloring. That ink will move on you. Let's see if I left enough space to do a good blend. We'll let it dry and see what happens. All right, so we need to give our crust to our pie and the rest of our donuts. We need to give them a brown color because in the real world, that's what they are. So I'm gonna bring out this big case again. And you guys, I have outgrown this case. I don't mind telling you. I, before Stampin' Up even started with Stampin' Blends, I used alcohol ink markers. So I have amassed quite the collection over time. And that having been said, I have outgrown. I got this case for Christmas, I think, a couple of years ago. And I've outgrown it already, so I've pulled out my old smaller cases for overflow. And maybe I just need to use them more so they run out of ink. I don't know. All right, so I have pecan pie. So we're sticking with the color scheme that we had going. And I think I'm going to start with the light pecan pie because I'm not really sure which color. Oh yeah, that's a good choice. I think that's a good donut color and a good pie crust color. And I hope I'm staying in the lines. I feel like I am. You guys, if I don't judge me. I'm just a crafty girl with some struggles this morning. All right, let's go ahead and do pumpkin number 2, donut number 2, and then move on to our pumpkin sweet potato cheesecake. Let's say it's that. I have a cousin who lives in Georgia. He made a sweet potato cheesecake, and I don't like sweet potatoes, but let me tell you, that cheesecake was so yummy. So yummy. He's a good cook. He and my cousin, his wife is my cousin. So he's my cousin. We don't say by marriage. We just, family is family, and my family. Okay. I'll show you these up close. We needed a green for the leaf of the apple. Just gonna pop it in with the pumpkin or the pecan pie. I'm not gonna dig for more blends. All right, so let's see if I can show you the blending up close. Can you see? So this didn't blend quite the way I wanted it to. We could go back over it with the dark and the light, but you see the pie and the donuts, how their variation. I like that. I like that. I like it a lot. All right. We need to, at this point, do some die cutting. So we're going to bring in the mini cut and emboss machine. And we're going to cut all of our little shapes out here. And then we'll do some assembly and we're done. The biggest part of this card are all the little pieces. So they're tedious, but nothing difficult to do, right? So let's go ahead and bring in the mini cut and emboss. Oh, what fell? A little bottle. I found these little bottles. Ampule. You see this? Isn't this cute? And the Dollar Tree. I'm hoping to make a scene and glue it to a canvas. We'll see. That's what my mind told me when I bought them. Hopefully I get around to it. All right, so let's grab our dies. And I'm going to set up the layers here. When you're die cutting, if you don't have a die cutter, most die cutters come with a set of plates, a top and a bottom that you have to use. The way that I remembered was by referring to it as a sandwich and all the components of a sandwich, and I could remember how they were supposed to go, but there are numbers there, 2, 1. And so this is when you're using wafer thin dies. So this is my fry pan, and we're going to make grilled ham and cheese. That's what I like to say. This is the bread. So I need a piece of bread. And then whatever else is going on, the cheese and all of the goodies. I'm going to put this down and hopefully, no, we're not. I'm not that confident. I'm going to cut these out. We'll cut them in 2 passes. I was going to say, let's try to do it in 1 pass, and actually I'm going to do it in 3 passes. I think we'll have more success that way. I don't want to have to keep fidgeting with it, going in and out, trying to align it. I don't want that business at all. Initially, I thought that's what we're going to do, but no, we're not. We're not doing it. All right, let's see. Here's our pie. So we'll need that on our pie. I believe it's the pie. No, that's the whip-de-doo. That's the whip-de-doo. Here's a pie. Here's our cup. And here's the pie. And here's the donut. So let's line these up. I'm just going to arrange the dies right on top of the stamped and colored images that we did. And I'm going to pass it through the machine and pray for the best. If you are in your craft room, you probably want to grab washi tape, because washi tape is for smart people who aren't as daring as I am. Dara's daring. Imagine that. Okay, and that's the other reason I have hand cream on, and so sometimes the little dies stick to my fingers, and then now they're misplaced, and that's not what I wanted, right? All right, I'm gonna drop this down and give it a nice squeeze. There we go. Give it a push. Wind it through. Okay, you guys, I think we hit pay dirt. That went through very nicely. Let's put these dies down. I am happy. Look at that. Here we go with all of our little pieces. You know, I wonder if there's a whipped cream for a pie. That would be cute, wouldn't it? If we had a little whip-de-doo for our pie as well. All right, so I'm going to set these right on top of the early espresso. That way we see them. Oh, we need another donut. Let's grab another donut. Let's put our sandwich back on the skillet. And this time we have a donut and a whippy-doo. There is a way that donut goes on. There's some squiggly part in the icing that I discovered, and I think that's the way it goes. At any rate, it looks close enough to me, so I went with it. I don't think it turned out too awful bad. All right, let's go ahead and cut donut number 2 and the whippy-doo. Our top piece of bread here. So we have ham, cheese, and the top bread. And our frying pan. And then next we need to do all of those little pieces. The little tiny pieces. So let's do those. Let's put these. Oh my gosh, you guys, look. So cute. So cute. All right, and then finally, we need the hearts. We need, I think that might be a little whippy-doo. I don't know. All right, let's put the heart on. And we need the pumpkin and the apple. We're going to have to pass them through twice. And then remember I said we're going to use that nothing's better than. We're going to use that as well. I think that's the last thing that we have to die cut, I believe. These are really tiny. Maybe I should grab some washi. Oh, don't. There we go. All right. We've been on a good streak. I'm going to try it. Let's flip this right over. And lay it down. Give it a nice squeeze. Push, push, push. And then, once more, then we'll cut that nothing's better than. And I think that I'm going to cut it using the pecan pie. I think so. I think that's what I want to do. All right, so let's put our little heart back on. I need to put this on the stove because I don't want to go moving it after we get these into place. I have found that the more you have to move the dies once you put them on, the less successful you are with getting it to cut the way you want it. So I like to have everything right on the die cutter and place them while they're on the die cutter also. I don't know, it may be just me. However, good morning, Kathy. Good morning to you. Good morning, good morning. Thanks for hanging out in my craft room with me. How are you? Hopefully you're having a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Saturday morning. It looks gorgeous out. I went out with my dogs this morning for a little bit to play fetch with them, their favorite game. And it was so nice. So nice. It's like paradise. And hopefully you're able to be crafty this weekend. We're not doing anything in my family this weekend. Nothing at all. So I'm hoping, okay, that's not entirely true, but we're not doing, anything away from home or special. We're eating. We're going to do that. So hopefully I get a chance to duck off in the craft room. That's the moral of that story. I have my Stampin' trimmer. I'm going to cut off a piece of the pecan pie that we brought. We need to be able to fit it through the die cutting machine. Here's the half that we're going to save. And then I'm going to cut this down to 3, and I'm going to cut it down to 3.5. We don't need it to be any bigger than that. In fact, that's probably much larger than we need. And then we're going to cut out that nothing's better than. And I think once we do that, we're ready for a little assembly. Just have to figure out where we want to, or how we want to arrange the elements on our card, and then maybe a little embellishing. I think I'm going to take that latte out too. I may not have shown you, but can you see on the dies? There's a latte and coffee. Coffee, by the way, is my favorite beverage. I drink coffee every single day of my life, unless something's wrong. And then I drink water and tea. I don't drink anything else. Those are the beverages that I drink. Occasionally, I'll drink like a vitamin water, a diet water or something like that. All right, so we're using the latte. I grabbed that out along with the nothing's better than. And we're going to use both of those. Intricate die cuts call for the multi-purpose mono glue. Oh dear, that's stuck in there. Look how tiny that is. Very tiny. We're going to have to use our pokey to get that out. And so while I like the intricate dies, I'm also afraid of them because they're so tiny and you have to use that tiny glue. There we go. We have it. Okay, let's get rid of our die cutter. I really think that we're done with it. Oh, move that hand sanitizer. And let's put all of our little appendages back into place. There we go. All right, so I do need my Take Your Pick tool. If you don't have a Take Your Pick tool, you need a Take Your Pick tool. This is so fabulous. There's the picker-upper for your embellishments. There's the pokey tool. On the other side of the pokey tool, you can unfasten it, and there is a spatula there. You see how tiny that latte is? I don't know how we're gonna do it. And then I'm gonna clean this up using that pokey tool too, just the places that don't belong. We're just gonna kind of punch them out with a little pokey tool. The die cutter did most of the work. I'm thankful for that. And I'm thankful for the pokey tool for the rest. All right, I do have to tell you, gosh, I am a little bit nervous about gluing. Let's see if I kept my tweezers close. One of you very wise stamping friends of mine reminded me to use tweezers for those intricate tiny pieces, and I hadn't thought of it. And I did bring tweezers forward, but there's no telling. All right, we'll just use the Take Your Pick tool. We'll see how we do with it. All right, so let's go ahead and start laying out our card. I'm not 100% sure how we'll do it, but let's bring in all of our little components. Oh, we needed the card base. That's what the other half of the card was for. Silly me. I'm gonna cut it to 5.5 by, oh, it's already ready. We should just be able to score. Score it at 4 1/4. This is going to give us our card base. I normally do this at the beginning, and I didn't. So that threw me off just now. I went to look for the card, and there's no card. Okay. There we go. So here's our card base. We'll kind of see how we're going to lay it out. So remember, I cut the pumpkin pie out of the large postage dies. So I'm not exactly sure. Oh yeah, Kathy, yes, the tiny dies are challenging, aren't they? I think we're going to use the larger one. I wasn't quite sure how that was going to map out, but let's go ahead and go with this. Now, remember at the beginning of the live, I said that I had cut all of the little postage stamps out, and I actually cut 4 sets out. I'm going to move these markers. I cut 2 sets using crumb cake and 2 sets using basic white because I wasn't sure. I thought the crumb cake would look nice, and so I was going to try it because there was not a way that I wasn't going to try it. It looks very fall to me, just that, you know, it looks rustic, this combination of colors. So we're going to try, and I think that, let's see, we will need a white because we're going to stamp our sentiment on white. This is kind of like a puzzle. I'm not exactly sure how these will fall, but we're going to do our best. And then we have the large one. And that large one is going to go this way. So we're trying to fill in the larger postage stamp. So this is kind of like a puzzle. And remember, I told you that I'm casing. Case means copy. It's an acronym. Copy and share everything. That has been around Stampin' Up! For a long time. Have any of you ever heard of that? Do you remember that? Case? Case the catalog means copy. Copy from it and share it. So anything you see in there, you can use it. So that's what we're doing. We're casing the catalog. However, they used basic white instead of crumb cake. And I'm not sure that I have all of the layers the way that they did, but I need to have them the way they're going to work for the card we're making, right? We have to do what works for us. And I had wonderful inspiration strolling through Pinterest this morning. I wanted to do all sorts of things, but of course, I have other obligations in life. If this could be my only and number one job, I would come and share with you guys probably every single day of the week because I love it. Showing up for you guys keeps me crafty even when I'm in a lull. You know, I have a commitment to be here and share with you. So you guys, you're good for my health. All right. So I don't really like how big that gap is right there, but I don't think there's much I can do about it. And so this is going to be the rough layout. Oh, here. Can you see what we have here? And then let's scooch this up. And then let's kind of give a dry run to all of the little stamped pieces that we have. So we are going to need to do a little bit of stamping here. That nothing's better than, we're going to put it here. And then we're going to stamp here and probably with pumpkin or the early espresso. And then we'll put, do I want donut? We'll put a donut. We have our piece of pie. We have our coffee. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I like it. It's very matchy-matchy, isn't it? I'm not sure I intended it to be so matchy-matchy. We have the, basically the three colors going there. Crumb cake, pumpkin pie, and pecan pie. All things to eat. And now I'm hungry. All right. I think I kind of like it like this. Our pie. And then we have to put our latte, that little latte. Oh boy. That's why I looked for the tweezers. I have fat fingers. There we go. We'll see how good we can do. And then we have our little heart and pumpkins. We're just gonna, and apples. Oh, maybe we won't have room for all of it. Maybe we'll do 1, 1, and 1. Nothing's better than. Oh, these can't go together. We'll have to put the pumpkin in the center and put the apple on top. All right, this is taking shape. We do have, we have our whippy do for the latte. Maybe we'll put the cup flat and the whippy do will pop it up. And I think we're going to color, let's color in our coffee. I was going to leave it white, but I don't really prefer it that way. And then we have these little bits. I don't know. We'll decide if we use them. I'm not sure what that is. Okay, let's go ahead and we're going to glue down everything except for our latte because a latte isn't white. Even though the cup is white, I don't know. All right, so let's go ahead and bring in some green glue. And then we have our Stampin' Seal Plus. And let me grab some Stampin' Dimensionals. There's a new pack, but I'm sure here, there's a partial. All right. And we'll decide what we're going to pop up. And I feel like really all of the elements can be popped up. And I think it makes more sense to pop the Whippy Doo, which is kind of flat. I wonder if my Wink of Stella is around. I don't know. All right, so we'll move all of these aside. We have our rough draft done. And let's just go ahead and start gluing these down. The larger pieces I'm gonna apply with my Stampin' Seal Plus. It is my adhesive of choice because I can go back and forth between needing a strong adhesive or just a regular tape runner. It's a little more expensive, so you might not want to do that, but I like being able to do it because it's convenient for me. And let me tell you, it sticks really good. Really good. So I used to use Terran tape quite a bit, but I don't use the Terran tape. I can't remember when the last time was I used Terran tape. I'm crafting for upcoming craft shows, so maybe I'll be using the Terran tape a little more than I normally do. Thank you. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you, thank you. Oh, we need to stamp on this. That's why that's last. So we have the nothing's better than, and we have a lot of words that we can choose from. It's going to be the larger writing, the cursive writing. Any of these things can be used there in combination. So like nothing's better than fall season or autumn season, or, you know, nothing's better than hot chocolate. I really wanted to say hello pumpkin. I think there's a little, yeah, there's a little hello there. I know it's backwards for you, but there's a hello. I wanted to say hello pumpkin. Nothing's better than pumpkin. We're going to say nothing's better than autumn because that fits me more than any of the other phrases. Nothing's better than autumn. I'm definitely a fall girl. Is this the autumn? That's hot cocoa. There's autumn. All right, let's grab a block. Not too big of one. Let's see. Oh, those are too small. There's a good one. And then I'm gonna stamp, maybe we should use pumpkin pie. That might look good on the crumb cake. No, we'll stick with the early espresso. I'm not sure if the pumpkin pie will look the way that I want it to, so we'll play it safe. We'll play it safe, and I'm gonna put this autumn right in the bottom center of this postage die. I didn't stamp it on the Stampin' Pierce mat, but right here, flat dab in the middle, smack dab in the middle. Is that what it is? Smack dab in the middle. And the nothing's better than. So we're gonna need the silicone mat because I need to apply the glue to the reverse side, and we need to do that to the latte also. And I'll go ahead and do both of them. And then we'll arrange the rest of the components, and we're gonna pop all of these up, we said, right? We'll pop them all up. I think even the tiny ones. So we'll grab some mini Stampin' Dimensionals, and we'll pop those up as well. And all right, so let's do this. I have to think about how to do this. One of the ways that I like to do this, which I have no idea where my sponges are. I'm deconstructing my craft room, and I've moved a lot of things around. I have a little bucket with sponges that I cut up, and I would just put some of the glue right onto the silicone mat, and then pick it up with the sponge and apply it. I don't have that, so I think I'm just going to take the opening nib and just kind of dab the glue onto the die cut. That's the best way I can think of doing it. And I'm just going to have to know that my fingers are going to get sticky because they just are. All right. And I'm going to use the Take Your Pick tool. How about that? Let's see how this works. Kind of help me get to the bottom of it. And plop it right down. Okay, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, you guys. That was a little less painful than I was worried about. And I'm just going to take my diaper wipe. No, I better not do that. That has ink on it. It may have kept the ink wet because our ink, I think that ink is water-based. All right. This will go there. And then let's go ahead and do the same thing with that little latte. I'm going to have an inky finger, but it is what it is. Okay. Thank goodness for that. Let's put this away for now. And I don't think we have any other stamping to do. I think we're done. We're almost done with our card. Boy, this card has a lot of little working pieces, doesn't it? All right, let's go ahead. We're going to color in. I'm going to grab that Pecan Pie Stampin' Blends, the lighter of the two, and go closest to, can you remember how we did the other elements in the center? So I'm going to go closest in the center, so closest to that label. And, oh no, I'm sorry, closest away from the label. In the center, I'm going to go in the center with the lighter color. And then I'm going to go around the outside with the darker color. That's what I meant to say. All right. Let's grab the dark. I'm using the, let's try and use the brushed tip. And go around the outside. And then I'll come back with the lighter and go on the inside. So this should be pretty quick and painless. And I'm gonna go ahead and leave the rim of it white. But I think that I prefer the brown cup. All right, I'm just gonna drag the light over it, blend it a little bit. So we have a little shading. Yes, much happier with that. Okay. Let's go ahead and glue everything together. And then we'll glue the whole piece right to the front of our card and we'll be done. So, oh, that nothing's better than. I threw the pie across the room. Not sure why I did that. All right, so we'll pop this right down. I'll try and make the margin even, top and bottom. And then let's glue our latte down. And then we'll glue our pie down. And then, oh no, I want to put these on dimensionals. It was only the coffee cup that I wanted flat. Getting a little bit ahead of myself. I saw the finish line, you guys, and my horse took off. All right, let's pop our pie right down. I still feel like the pie needs a little whippy. And let's glue our donut down. That stuck to my finger. Surprisingly, my fingers aren't as inky as I was afraid they were going to be. I thought I was going to make a mess, and I don't even feel them being sticky. So I'm pleased with that. We'll pop that right down. And then let's look for some mini Stampin' Dimensionals. By the way, the Stampin' Dimensionals do come in mini. I'm not sure. I haven't looked. We had black Stampin' Dimensionals and then the mini ones. So not all of them are white or the same size, but I tend to use the regular full-size Stampin' Dimensionals, and then I'll cut them down. I'll cut them down if I feel I need it, and I'll even cut around the outside. I use every single bit of it that I can. All right, and then so I have some minis here because we have those very small little pieces. And they're going to require the mini Stampin' Dimensionals. That's even smaller than I would cut if I cut a piece off of the regular. And turn this over. And, you know, I'm going to nab this other little apple. I'm going to put it there, I think. All right, so we have our little smaller elements, and we're just going to put them in the remaining postage area. I think I'm going to put the heart on the bottom. And then we decided the pumpkin had to go in the middle because we had two red elements. Don't you love that cherry pie? Or I mean cherry cobbler. I'm calling it cherry pie. It is not cherry pie. I'm in pie mode because everything we're using today has a pie color, a pie name, I should say. But the cherry cobbler is a very deep, rich red. I love it. It's my favorite. I'm glad that when Stampin' Up! Has done their revamp, so they do color reboots every so often, and some of the core colors will be updated, some of them go away, and you know, and they'll bring new ones in. Cherry cobbler is still here. Oh, we have to put our whip-de-doo. Forgot about the whip-de-doo. Let's see where I shoved those dimensionals. We are, oh dear, I don't know where I put them. Let's see. There we go. We have to add some dimensionals to our whip-de-doo. So I was going to say about the colors, some of them you get really attached to, and you're so sad to see them go. And the same thing happens with in colors. So when there are new in colors, you can get attached to some of them. And when they go, it just seems so sad. It seems so sad. I had that sadness with Bermuda Bay. Okay, so here's what we're looking like. Here's our card. And then let's give it some embellishments. I am going to use, I'm going to take these pecan pie in clear. I'm going to use the pecan pie, not the clear. Sprinkle them around a bit, and then our card is done. So next week, I am going to be away for the weekend. I will not be here with you, I don't think, next weekend. If I think I can get good Wi-Fi, then I'll pop on. But other than that, I'm not going to count on being here. But I will be back the following week to share with you. And we're going to have fun new stuff from the new mini catalog. That's what we're going to be focusing on. So we should have lots of fun at that time. So I won't see you next weekend. I will see you the following weekend. And I think even the following weekend, I may see you on Sunday and not on Saturday, but I'll give you a heads up. All right, here we are. This is our very lovely card. It is backwards for now. I struggled with the camera again. I just can't figure out the new changes. My setup is going to change anyway, so hopefully we'll get that better. But for now, it's backwards. I will modify the description above so you can pop over to the online store if you'd like to see it. But here's our lovely card. It's very fall looking, very matchy colors, I think. Let's talk about what we used as a reminder. So, perennial postage, those big stamps that you see, the postage stamp, even the one in the background. And we did a take on what Stampin' Up! Had in their catalog, but they're the perennial postage. So this is what's in them. And then we use the More Than Autumn. So the More Than Autumn is a stamp and die set. We have a stamp set with tons of workable phrases and words and lots of little bitty goodness. We try to use a lot of them, and then some coordinating dies that are standalone, or you can use them to cut out some of the elements that are in the stamp set. And then we, voila, this is what we came up with. Oh, hi, Beth. You just got on. You'll catch the replay. Good morning. I'm glad to see you here. Thank you so much for hanging out this morning. We have this very fall-inspired card. I feel like this is another one that we've only seen once here, so I might use this too. I might use this again. But anyway, so I grabbed this out to use. It's fun. We haven't seen it if we did here for a long time. So this is the fun card that we ended up with. If you love it, pop over to my online store to take a look at it and to take a look at the bundle. And it is bundled. I'm pretty sure that it's 10% off. You'll find it that way on the online store if it's there. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for spending your time with me. Thank you for keeping me crafty by showing up for me. I appreciate that you spent your time with me. Beth, have fun looking at the replay. I hope you like it. Lots of little pieces. It's very fall. It's feeling, I like the colors. It's feeling like our weather has been here in the Midwest. All right, you guys, thanks so much for being here. I appreciate you. I will see you soon. Have a fantastic weekend. Bye-bye.